Good evening, I'm Ava. Tonight's focus is on the Indiana Fever and the difficult decisions the franchise now faces following the injury to their star guard, Caitlin Clark. Once seen as a team with momentum and a realistic chance at the playoffs, the Fever are now shifting their focus to the future, understanding that the health of their most important player outweighs the urgency of chasing a postseason berth this season. Caitlin Clark, the #1 pick in the 2024 WNBA Draft, entered the league with historic expectations. She delivered immediately, averaging over 16 points and nearly 9 assists per game in the limited contests she played before suffering a right groin injury that has sidelined her for more than a month. Clark has missed at least a dozen straight games, and while the Fever continue to fight for wins, her absence has been a glaring void both statistically and emotionally. Coach Stephanie White has addressed the media repeatedly on her status, and the consistent message has been that Clark will not return until she is 100% healthy. The priority, White has said, is the long-term outlook, not short-term gain. That emphasis on caution is understandable given the broader circumstances surrounding the team. The Fever have been riddled with injuries, not only to Clark but also to key guard Sydney Colson, who suffered a torn ACL, and Ari McDonald, who fractured her foot. Both are lost for the season, and suddenly Indiana has found itself without a single natural point guard available. Lineup adjustments and backcourt improvisation have become the norm. Kelsey Mitchell has shouldered the scoring load, producing explosive performances such as her 38-point game in a historic comeback against the Connecticut Sun. That game, a 99-93 win, demonstrated that Indiana is capable of grit and resilience even without its leader. Yet for every high point like that victory, there are stretches where the limitations of a depleted roster are clear. The Fever have managed to grind out wins against Chicago and Connecticut, and players like Aaliyah Boston have stepped up as interior anchors, but the reality is unavoidable. This is not a team positioned for a deep playoff run without Caitlin Clark. And with her groin injury still lingering, the organization faces a crossroads. Do they risk rushing her back to capitalize on a possible playoff berth, or do they shut her down to prioritize next year and beyond? Thus far, all signals point toward the second option. Coach White has been deliberate in her updates, often saying simply, "That's the hope," when asked if Clark might return before the season ends. Some speculation has emerged about a possible late August return, but there are no guarantees. The Fever even signed and then quickly released guard Kyra Lambert, a hardship addition, leading some fans to wonder whether the move hints at Clark's return being near. But nothing official has been confirmed. The organization seems intent on erring on the side of caution, and given Clark's status as the face of the franchise and one of the most marketable players in all of women's basketball, it is a decision that aligns with long-term interests. Beyond the injury, there are broader consequences to consider. Caitlin Clark's presence has dramatically increased attendance, ratings, and revenue across the WNBA, fueling what many call the Caitlin Clark effect. Every Fever Road game has become a spectacle, drawing crowds eager to see her play. In her absence, while the team still garners attention, the energy is noticeably different. For the Fever, this raises questions about how to sustain momentum when their centerpiece is sidelined. It also highlights the pressure Clark faces, not just to perform on the court, but to carry the franchise's visibility off it. That burden makes the decision to rest her even more critical. Analysts have compared the Fever's situation to NBA franchises facing similar dilemmas, like the Indiana Pacers with Tyrese Haliburton. When cornerstone players face injuries, the choice is often between chasing immediate wins or protecting the future. In almost every case, the teams that take the cautious approach ultimately benefit, ensuring their star remains healthy for years to come. The Fever appear to be following that playbook, signaling that Clark's health in the long run is more valuable than any short-term playoff berth. Fans, too, are divided. Some remain hopeful that Clark can return in time to push the Fever back into the postseason conversation. Others argue that risking re-injury would be short-sighted. Social media has been full of debate, but even among the most passionate supporters, there is a recognition that Clark's career is just beginning. Preserving her ability to dominate for a decade matters far more than rushing back for a few late-season games. Meanwhile, her teammates continue to battle. Kelsey Mitchell has embraced the spotlight, reminding the league of her own scoring prowess. Aaliyah Boston continues to establish herself as one of the top young centers in the WNBA. Together, they've kept the Fever competitive, earning praise for their resilience and fighting spirit. Their victories over Connecticut and Chicago have been bright spots in an otherwise challenging stretch, evidence that this roster can compete even under dire circumstances. Yet the ceiling is clear. Without Clark, the Fever are a middle-of-the-pack team fighting just to stay afloat. With her, they are a potential contender with one of the league's most dangerous playmakers. The Indiana Fever's front office is no doubt taking the long view. Clark is not just another rookie. She is a generational player around whom the franchise will build. Protecting her now ensures that when she does return, she will do so without lingering limitations. Already in her brief time on the floor, she has shown flashes of brilliance, from dazzling no-look passes to deep three-pointers that electrify arenas. It is precisely those moments that underline why the Fever cannot afford to jeopardize her future by rushing her recovery. The WNBA as a whole also has a stake in her health. The league has enjoyed record ratings, higher attendance, and expanded media coverage since Clark's arrival. Her injury has dimmed some of that buzz, but her eventual return promises to reignite it. Ensuring she comes back healthy is not just an Indiana Fever priority, it is a league-wide one. As the regular season winds down, the Fever face a delicate balancing act. They must continue to compete and develop their younger players while keeping Clark's recovery on track. Every win without her is a testament to their growth, and every loss a reminder of how much she means to the team's success. For fans, it is a lesson in patience, an acknowledgement that the most important victories may come in future seasons rather than the present one. Ultimately, Caitlin Clark's injury has forced the Fever to prioritize tomorrow over today. It has shifted the conversation from playoff scenarios to long-term vision. It has underscored the value of patience, resilience, and perspective. For Clark, the time away may even prove valuable, giving her the chance to rest, rehab, and return with renewed strength. For the Fever, it is a reminder that building a champion is a marathon, not a sprint. And for the WNBA, it is proof that one player's presence can reshape an entire league's landscape.